welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Mr. Anthony Beckford, who's running for the 45th City Council District. He'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And like I said, I have a very special guest for you, Mr. Anthony Beckford. He's in the house tonight, and you're running for City Council.
Yes,
All that good stuff. But welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
It's amazing. We love having people who are very grassroots, represent the community. And of course, you know, you're running for an important seat because I think that's the one that really affects the locals the most.
Yeah.
So we'll dive into all that. But before we even get to it, who is Anthony Beckford? I want to know a little bit about you.
I am what many in the community call the equalizer, the vanguard of the community. But that's because, everything I've done, from grassroots of being an activist, community advocate, a mentor, single father, I break a lot of what I'll say is a lot of the demonizing or criminalizing narratives that they place on a black male in our community.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like that, who want to keep that structure going, but the community loves it because, we're able to defy, and I'm able to show, the youth that we could defy. I'm able to actually do a lot of things to push it to the envelope where many others, they fail to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So give us how did it lead up to the political part? Of course, you didn't just appear. Like you said, it's been a little bit of a journey. So really share that with us because people at home love to hear the story. It's all about how you got to this point.
Yeah, so you could basically say everything started at the age of 12. That was my awakening. We know what everything is going on with the schools right now. Back then, I was actually battling it. I didn't even know that was going to be my first initial battle. I didn't even know that was going to be my introduction into this life that I have now. I went to Winthrop Junior High School, which is IS 232, which now has like 3-4 schools in it. Mm-hmm. But these are the issues that I was fighting back against, fighting against then. They were talking about rezoning, and if anything that we hear about rezoning, now everybody's realizing rezoning is not good. Back then, I didn't even know what rezoning was as a child, but it didn't sound good at all. Common sense, and then, just sixth sense just picked up on something's not right. I have these rich people in suits and ties on the stage looking down at us, the community, telling us, yes, this is good for y'all, but this is what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen. I'm like, but it doesn't sound quite right.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my mom, I was like, hey, can I write something and give to them? And she's like, yeah, do it. So I did it, and my mom was always encouraging me to do a lot of things. Even with this race here, like my mom is like one of my main, my daughter is my main supporter. That's my junior campaign manager.
Yes.
But my mom was right there too. But I wrote what I felt about rezoning, what it was doing to our community, doing to our schools. Went to the stage. There's this big burly white guy there, and I was like, "Excuse me, can I go on stage and talk?" He went up there. He talked to the I call it the bureaucrats.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, "Yeah, let him up here." So I guess they figured this would be a cute moment for them and stuff like that. But see, when you bring ugly against us, there's nothing cute about what we bring back because. Our lives aren't cute. It's ugliness that you bring at us and that we live in, and we have to somehow survive it. And as a child, I guess I was tired of just surviving. And I basically spoke out to the audience about why I think the rezoning is bad, why I think, what I think of it being, in the aspects of segregation, the fact that, I felt that money was going to be taken out of our schools, all these things. 12 years old. Didn't know this what the plan was. I just felt that this was going to happen. And funny thing is that even that night they were like, oh, we'll take you home in a in a limo, and I'm like, mommy, she's like, no, we're all right, we'll take the bus. Took the bus and stuff like that. I just thought nothing of it until the next day I'm in school, and the assistant principal comes up with security to my Spanish class, and they're like, we're here for Anthony. And I'm like, wait, what? What did I do?
What?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and they brought me to the hallway and literally they asked what I thought, which was, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You called me." And they're like, "The school chancellor's here." And I'm like, "What is the school? So what is the school chancellor?" I'm like, "What is this thing?" And they brought me downstairs to the auditorium and they called a special what do you call them things back? Oh God, it's been a long time since I've been out of school. But they called a special meeting for all the children to come down. We came down, a special assembly. There we go. And I'm on the stage waiting, and I see this older white gentleman coming, suit, tie, and all. And I'm like, he looks like he's important. He comes on stage, he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, "I just want to let y'all know, because of this young man right here, yesterday we held an emergency vote after our public meeting, our hearing, and we voted against the rezoning of the school district."
Wow.
And I was like, wait, what did I just do? It was one of the moments, told me this old short kid looking up at this man, and I'm like, wow, and built a relationship with him after that. Like, literally, I still got the letter. Matter of fact, my mother has a letter hung up in her house, in the hallway from him, thanking me for what I did to help in that process and so forth. So, it went from there to me realizing that I have a voice, that I have strength. And I started advocating more, for the youth in the school. It came from advocating for lunches, the way it should be for us, cutting down the price of snacks in the school. I ain't gonna lie, I was feeling myself.
Of course.
I was feeling myself, but I didn't realize how important that was until now as a grown adult. And I see what's going on in our schools. I see the fact there's 3 to 4 schools now. I see that my junior high school has 3 to 4 schools in it. I see Tilden High School has 3 to 4 schools. Midwood hasn't done it yet. That's the high school I went to. But that's because they get a lot of funding, from various communities. But in the inner part of our community, we don't get that funding. So these schools are suffering. They're shutting down. More charter schools are popping up. They're co-locating. So less public schools are getting funding. Right now our schools in New York City are owed $1.4 billion. But I call it $1.4 billion plus interest because I want my interest on this.
Exactly.
And it has to happen. There's no negotiating. We have it. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you this is what we need. Enough of the compromise. We have elected officials that do that enough. On our behalf, even though we don't want it on our behalf. So we went from that. I'm the leader of the Brooklyn Sector Cop Watch Patrol Unit. We hold the police accountable and all in. So you see the videos out there. That is us. We're out there putting our life on the line every day, literally.
So this has definitely
every day
been a progression to this point.
Yeah.
And you discovered that love for it, and that's the crux of what I was trying to get at when you tapped into that moment when you realized you could make a change, an impact, and at 12 years old, that's amazing.
Yeah, it became my duty, and that's the difference I tell people. There is a job that you get paid for, but then there's your duty, which you take initiative to do, and there's a big difference between that. People get paid to do legislation. People get paid to act a certain way. I'm doing what I have to do because it's what I have to do.
Exactly. Well, hold that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. So, Mr. Beckford, why don't you tell us a little bit about the race? The big race is coming up, and there have been so many changes. I think it's confusing to a certain degree, and we really want to enlighten everybody at home so they have the right information, they're equipped. We know it's the 45th district.
Yes, it's the 45th City Council District, which is the old district of Jamani Williams. Jamani Williams is now the public advocate for a lot of people. A lot of people don't even know that he's the public advocate. They still think he's the councilman. So that's one thing I've been working with civic engagement and trying to make sure that I keep the people, knowledgeable about what's going on. So, he's the new public advocate, so his seat is vacant. So right now, originally there was 11 candidates that was running for the seat. Of course, weed out through things from petitioning to people dropping out, people getting knocked off the ballot, shady games, political mess and stuff like that. But now there's about 6 to 7 candidates in there. The special election is May 14th. But that's only to fill the seat from May 15th to December 31st of this year. I don't know how they worked it out. They just did it that way. Yeah.
So you're a temp.
Yeah. Basically, but then with both segments of the election, you're a placeholder. So you're not really there to truly represent the people like you should. And well, you can, but if
would
people
you realistically be able to make a change in such a short time frame?
I know I can. But I don't know about everybody else. I already have legislation I'm ready to pass within my first 30 days of each election. That's what you have to look at, strive for. Enough of lip service. It's all about action. So I came into this political arena, as being a face, on the front line of the movements to basically not only cause good trouble, as people call it, when it comes to me, but also to let people understand who truly is there to represent them. Not people who are conditioned, in the political process, but people who are actually from the community, who have been dealing on both sides, from grassroots, also holding political electeds, accountable, also being out there lobbying in Albany and City Hall, just to make sure that things are passed, for true progressiveness in our communities, but then also being the voice of the people, But like I said, this election here, if you have the right mindset, you can do what needs to be done. So May 14th is a special election. June 25th is a primary. So you have the special election and an offset election now.
So you need to do the people have to vote in both?
Yes, they do. They do. And in our district, we literally have a 7 to 8% voter turnout, the lowest turnout. The special election, it is forecasted to be a 2.5% turnout. What I've been pushing for is to increase those numbers. I want all 78,832 registered voters to actually come out and say, I'm going to vote, I'm going to make my voice heard, so we can have 100% turnout, because it's needed.
Let us know, let everybody know, what is the 45th district? What does that comprise of?
So that's
everyone's clear.
So that's Flatbush, East Flatbush, Midwood, Marine Park, and Flatlands.
It's a big area.
Yeah, very, very big area. I think we have the second, either the first or the second biggest.
Ground right there.
Yeah, second biggest district, and it has about, say, 4 to 5 assembly districts within it, 2 to 3 Senate districts in it. So it's a large chunk. It's predominantly African American and Afro Carib. So myself, I'm the son of Jamaican immigrants.
A daughter of Trinity.
See, but then I love the culture that we have out there, because we are beautiful people. The culture is something that has built. We literally built that district. We made it what it is today, the vibrancy and stuff like that. So there's been a little mini war that's been going on due to people trying to divide the district, and even in this race, people have been trying to divide it even more. And so myself and the actual candidate I'm about to endorse in the special election, since I'm running in November 5th election, so that's another one, the general election November 5th. I'm trying to make sure that the people have a voice, but also we stop the mess. We stop the divide. We stop, the political pettiness, and we actually build unity in our community. I don't care if you're Orthodox Jewish, you're Trinidadian, you're Jamaican, you're Haitian, your family from the South that moved up here years ago, whatever. It's all about the unity that we can bring into the community. It's all about the unity that we need, because right now we're all facing the same crisis. Transit fares are going up. Right now my monthly just went up.
$1 yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yeah, and it's you don't get no bonuses anymore by purchasing single rides. But you still get the crappy, same crappy, MTA service. You also have in fact the housing prices going up. You have property tax going up, but yet you're not seeing what it's doing for your community. You have developers going around and harassing you and intimidating you to steal your property, or even DTHUS or the third-party trans. It's a lot that we're going through. We cannot be divided off of culture, off of political alliances, and even off of district borders anymore. We have to come together as a people and basically push back against anybody that's trying to divide us and make our voices heard, which is why my campaign slogan is "Together we can make a difference." Literally, that's the only way we can get through this, is together. But definitely November 5th is a very critical point in the election, because that's the general election.
Yeah.
So that's the one I'm running in. And a lot of people saying, well, why don't you run in a primary? I tell people this. It's like you being a kid in a playground. Why am I going to play in the sandbox with everybody else when I can play in the jungle gyms and wait for my turn? Let them get each other all messy and stuff like that, and basically show me my opponent. Let me see who comes out of this race, because I'm not here to muddy the waters. I'm not here to keep on having an extensive amount of people in the race and confuse the people, and and having people build their resume off of what you said, and they want to copy it now, but they can't validate it, but the people are not trying to make them validate it. No, show me who's going to come against me in November. I call myself a democratic progressive. I'm for the progress of the people, and I'm also democratic. But I'll be running on the liberal line. Because a lot of Democrats, they identify themselves as liberals. Now that we got the alt-right and the left, But it's something that is needed, to show the people that you can make a difference without beholding yourself to elected officials and to a machine. You have to run and be independent of all these things. Big money can't control you. And I fight against big money. I fight against the developers. I fight against the real estate board of New York. And these are people who have billions of dollars in their pocket, but yet every time I come around, they run scared. But yet you look at anybody else, they just look at them and say, well, how much can I pay you to be quiet? Or how much can I pay you you can talk a little bit bad about us, but don't pass no legislation against us. But I already have legislation to go against them first day in.
And let's talk about that. You brought that up already, and I just want to make sure so that people have a good understanding.
Yeah.
When you get in, you could lobby for that, but how long does it realistically take to actually go into motion?
As fast as your colleagues and the speaker and the mayor move it. So, put it like this. My people and I, in the movement, when Commissioner Bratton came with the whole broken window, so like he's the commissioner before the current commissioner we have now, O'Neill, came in, I remember we took over City Hall Park and renamed it Abolition Square. Like I said, I don't claim to be boots on the ground. I'm actually boots on the ground. I've put my work out there since the age of 12. I've been doing this. And our second day demands was the resignation of Bratton. He resigned in the second day.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. I want to hear that story. As we come back, you're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. So you're in the middle of telling us a really interesting story.
We took over City Hall Park. We renamed it Abolition Square. Of course, there was a lot of police intimidation. Like we should say, by almost every unit, especially the Strategic Response Group unit, the NYPD and TARU. These are the special ops units. Against people who are demanding, stop police brutality, stop killing black men, women, and children. Stop mass incarceration. Give us the funds that are owed to the people, or as I call it, reparations. Give us the programs we need. Give us the resources, and it's so funny because, like I said, we had a demand. The second day demand was for Bratton to resign, and I guess de Blasio whispered in his ear because he was going that second day. This is the power of the people. You have the nail salon incident that happened last August on Northern and Martins, where 3 black women were brutally beaten in that nail salon, and it was a racist incident, but we called it out, we shut it down. Now that space is up, for grabs, for a new business owner, and we're hoping that it's a black business owner, because one of the things we need more of our community to provide for more of our community. Like I said, I'd say that we're all part of the African diaspora. No matter if we're African American, Afro-Carib, Afro-Asian, Afro-Latino, we're all part of the African diaspora, and we have to start uniting that way. We have to come together. We have to, all of our cultures are beautiful, so we have to come to a mutual respect of each other and unite with each other in order to make sure that we have that power that we grasp. Especially our spending power is almost $3.1 to $4.3 trillion a year. Imagine the power if we kept that dollar in our community.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
Exactly. Imagine if we open more black businesses. Imagine if our children start seeing more black leaders that are not sellouts, but are actually leaders. Not ones who are willing to compromise for their best behalf, but are willing to sacrifice for our behalf. These are the things that our leaders back in the day did. Right now I think that they're turning in their graves because of the mess that the political climate has, but in a lot of our own people who actually decide that they want to get a greater office or they want to get more money while the people are suffering. We can't have that at all. And you have candidates who are doing the same thing, following those footsteps because they're beholden to these same people and they're receiving money from these people or they're being given promises from these people. No, none of that can happen because nothing good is coming for the community. We're still being displaced. Our rents are still going up. We're still being brutalized. We just did the memorial for Saheed Vassell, who was murdered on Utica and Montgomery the other day. We got matter of fact, we have Akai Gurley's. Matter of fact, we just did Akai Gurley's. No. We got Kai Gurley's coming up. We just did Kamani Gray's. We have Chantel Davis's coming up. We have Nicholas Hayward Jr.'s memorial coming up. It's too many names. Too many names, and as being a cop watcher, as being the president of Black Lives Matter Brooklyn, as being a single father, as being a black child in the community, being a black son, being a fellow community, member, I see and live these experiences every day. So I know what the community is going through. So who best to actually stop it, but somebody who's actually been there, seen the template, knows the game that they're playing, is able to combat against them, but not come back against them in words, but to do it through words, boots on the ground, marching, chanting, direct actions, but then also being able to pass legislation for it as well.
I love it.
Because even Jamani Williams, if you see prior interviews with him on other networks, he says that he is an elected activist. I am an activist that is going to become elected. And people say that there's not too much of a difference, but there is. Mm-hmm. Because it depends on where you started from. Like I said, the age of 12. I'm 37 right now. That's 25 years of experience. Longer than many people have been in office. They've been out there fighting for our community. From the children to the elders, to the families, to the labor unions, to the members. This is what I do. And I don't do it for the lights and cameras. I don't do it for pay. I don't get paid for this. This is what I do because this is what needs to happen. This is what our people need. They need true representation.
How do people get in contact and get more information? I want to make sure they have information to go check you out, get information, and be ready for these elections.
Definitely. Like I said, November 5th is when the people need to come out. Make sure they vote for me on November 5th.
Anthony Beckford,
the next city council member of District 45. But they can catch me on Twitter, which is vote 4 Beckford, Beckford. On Facebook, it's Anthony Beckford 4 City Council. It's the same thing for Instagram. They can even email me. Vote for Anthony Beckford is actually spelled FOR. Vote for Anthony Beckford at gmail.com. Or you're going to see me out there in the streets anyway. I'm always out there, boots on the ground. You're going to see me. You're going to see my daughter with me.
Yes. Let's give her a little shout out.
Shout out to my baby Harmony. That's Harmony Beckford. She's out there. You already know she does a lot of advocacy already as a youth. She's following in my footsteps, helping out, when it comes to the homeless, helping out when it comes to those who are hungry, with children's rights. It's a lot, that she, is taking on and is learning. And I love it because that means she's being guided the right way. I tell people as a parent, you always think you're not doing enough. But then when you see what your children are doing, you're like, oh, wow. It's one of those moments, and she's like my junior campaign manager, too. She makes sure that I walk out with literature. She'll hand out literature to people. She's gone door knocking with me. I'm showing her the process. I'm making sure that she's civically engaged. And even with a lot of the legislation that I'm actually putting together right now for, to introduce in my first 30 days in office, I've actually, bring her in on it as well, too. Okay, I asked her, okay, babes, what more can I do?
How old is she?
She's 7. So it's like, I let her, have that sense of responsibility, to understand what's going on, so that way she can be the next leader as well coming up. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have to be it politically, but she can be it, by starting a movement, by starting a nonprofit and doing the work out there. Like I said, I've been a mentor for years, community, advocate for years, activist for years, single father for years. It speaks for itself, what I do. Especially when it comes to my housing bill that I'm going to introduce, when it comes to my police accountability bill, that I'm going to introduce. These are the things that are needed, and it's going to protect homeowners, it's going to protect the seniors, it's going to protect the youth, it's going to protect the families, but even overall, it's going to even protect, NYCHA residents as well, too. Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing that's going on now, so when people tell you, oh, don't worry about Trump, because what he's doing is not going to affect us, already they announced that they're going to go get, they're going to go after undocumented families in NYCHA. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. It doesn't even have to be in my district. I will be there. because you have to be for the people. You just can't be just for a certain zip code.
Our zone has a lot.
Yeah. So you have to be there for the people, because what affects somebody in another district is still going to affect you, because they go after them, they're going to go after you.
If it starts at 45, it doesn't mean it's not going to move.
Exactly. And that's when I say community, I believe it's all of us together.
Yeah.
Because only together can, like you said, we can make a difference. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm ready for it. Been ready for it. I'm going to keep on pushing forward. People try to trip me up along the way, but, I don't let it, deter me from anything. It just makes me fight harder for the people. It's I can say it's life.
What are you looking forward to most in terms of being elected?
I'm looking forward to making sure that I put the legislation in to help the people. Everything I've been doing on the ground is what's going to come into legislation. My housing justice bill is going to provide, rent rollbacks. It's going to cut off, MCIs, IEIs. It's going to take preferential rent out of the leases. It's going to abolish, the TPT, which is a third-party transfer program that's taking away the homes of many of the people that, within the district, but then throughout New York City, total, but mainly black and brown families. Another thing that I'm looking forward to is actually pushing and fighting for this $1.4 billion plus interest for our public schools. Our children need this.
I love it. We are out of time, but we're going to definitely have you back, because you've got a lot that we can share with the people. So we'd love to have you back. Good luck with the race.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the information tonight. It was definitely a great energy. We're looking forward to it. So definitely check you out. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, you can send us an email, info@beyondfocusmedia.com. I'm your host, Lydia Patel. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll be back again next week. Same time, same place. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Beyond Focus TV show wants and needs your feedback. Did we blunder? Please let us know so we can improve. Was the show helpful to you? Drop us a note so we can share the success with our staff members. Is there something you think we could do better? We welcome new ideas and new approaches to old ideas. Do you have a great suggestion? Let us know and we'll work on it. If you would like to share your comments anonymously, please send us an email at info@beyondfocusmedia.com. If you want to get in touch with the executive producer directly, send him an email at gene@beyondfocusmedia.com. We really look forward to hearing from you.